Freedom for refugees!
Justice for immigrants!
Freedom for refugees!
Justice for immigrants!
Freedom for refugees!
Justice for immigrants!
Freedom for refugees!
Justice for immigrants! Freedom for refugees! Justice for immigrants! Freedom for refugees! Justice for immigrants! Come here, no hate, no fear. Refugees are welcome here, no hate, no fear. Refugees are welcome here, no hate, no fear.
What do you want to say to all the hate mongers out there?
Look at the facts.
Look at the facts.
Remember, we're stronger together. Don't let anybody divide us over ridiculousness.
This is Somalia, Sudan. This is, I can't say Syria. I can't read backwards. Yemen, Iran, Libya, Iraq.
And how have you been affected by this?
You know what? It's just a continuation of what our life is like. I was just telling some folks here. I've been attacked on the subway twice. I've been at the receiving end of a lot of hateful comments.
People are responsible about speaking up against injustice, no matter where in the world.
Great.
Demonstrating.
Amazing. What brought you out here today?
Just a human.
Human. I love it.
I can't understand why something like this could happen when we're all in the same situation. If we don't do things like this, I couldn't sleep at night.
And do you think this affects Canada as well as the whole world, not just
Absolutely,
America?
it does. This is a shock being heard around the world. The world's unifying against hatred. Like I said, if we don't do something, if you do nothing, you're agreeing. So being silent is our enemy right now.
First of all, I'm a Sudanese, Canadian Sudanese. I'm from Sudan, and you know my country is the list of that 7 country.
Okay, and how does it make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel sick, man. Okay, because this is unfair. This is racism. This is pure racism. It's against your religion. And if we let it go, yesterday was women, today is a religion, tomorrow morning is your color, and it's still going on and on and on. So we have to raise our voice for our value, for the humanity, because God created the human first before religion.
What would you like to say to the people of the world today that are like...
The people of the world, we have to say them that look at us as a Canadian. We are very proud of Canada. Okay? We're so proud. We're so proud of the Canadian. We're so proud of our Prime Minister who stand tall and firm for the humanity, for the value. And he teaches the world a lesson that the world are not alone as long as we have a country like Canada.
When it's championship, this is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Not enough.
Justice! Now! Justice! 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 Now!
Freedom for refugees!
This is sage and smudge.
Okay.
It's a medicine, so...
And what did you come out here for today?
Because this is my land, and we're here to tell Trump that he doesn't have any jurisdiction over Indian law.
I think the way it's going to affect the Canadians is the ones who are denied entry in the U.S. are going to come here, which I don't have a problem with. So.
And what do you think about all the hate and negativity that's going on in the world right now?
Sad. Yeah. Hopefully there'll be peace in the world eventually.
I hope so.
We're all fighting for it. So.
Thank you.
I'm Iranian. I've lived here for 20 years. I was a refugee when I came here. To me, this is more of a show of solidarity, but to me it's more important that our local government sees this and notices it, because I don't think they're doing a good enough job of translating the value of all the different cultures that live in Canada, and if they don't take that seriously, this sort of thing or the sort of stuff that happened in Quebec recently is going to become expected, and closet racists will allow themselves to come out. As far as US policy, that's expected. Trump is saying everything he's doing everything he said he was going to do. But for us here, it's important for us to let our government know that this sort of shit isn't okay.
I think we cannot stay idle, and the reason why I'm here is that we have to use our experiences, especially people like myself, in order to bring awareness to what actually happens in our communities outside of them. It's affecting me because it's triggering different emotions that I felt before, but luckily I had built the strength up enough to help elevate the voices of my community and of those who are outside of the community but also oppressed as well.
And where are you from?
I'm born and raised in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is your family affected by any of the bans in any of the countries at all?
So my family, no, I'm Egyptian, so
Okay.
Egypt's on the list, but I have...
Oh, you're on the safe side.
Yeah, safe side, because our president is a friend of Trump, so I'm like shaking my head there. But I have a lot of colleagues in the US, as I used to work for a startup company there, and her wedding is one of my friend's wedding is in 2 months, and her Syrian family cannot come to the wedding now, so that sucks, and that is just a really small example of how people's lives are affected. And I was saying to another reporter that policies might not change here, and this exact policy might not actually happen here, but this will give racists and homophobes and bigots all the more fuel to be hateful towards people of color, towards queer people, towards Muslims. We need to recognize that as well, and towards women as well. So we have. Yeah.
Do you feel that the events that happened in Quebec yesterday were a result of possibly what happened, what's going on in the?
Well, we see the rhetoric that's been happening. How people in Quebec in general, we see a lot of hatred towards Muslims in general. But pig heads being a couple months ago being put on doorsteps of mosques. That is obviously not. It's a form of insult, but it's not violence. But in a physical sense. But when you are in a place of worship and you are praying and you are killed just because you're praying and because you're a Muslim, this is where it crosses the line, and that is what really I think is bringing a lot of folks out here today. It's hit home, and it's hit home in a big way. It's been here for a while, but what's happening is it's coming out more and more, like I said, and this is the result. This happening is a result of what's been happening in the States. I think we need to be more cognizant of our surroundings. Our allies like yourselves need to be keeping your solidarity work up and really checking in on your Muslim friends and your friends of color. I think let's all band together. As somebody who is half white, half Arab, I totally understand this intersectionality, and I really think we just need to stand together. This is what humanity is about. Elevating the voices of the good. This is all the good people. There's so many good people in this world that we always try to focus on the bad people. Let's focus on the good. Let's work together. Yes. The people united will never be defeated.
It's important for everyone to come and stand up against injustice wherever it may be. I feel with Trump's, I mean, he's done like everyone else, there's good and bad to him. I do agree with him, for example, pulling out of the TPP. I can understand why people voted for him, economic anxiety. At the same time, we have to understand his views on various issues and the fact that some of these things can cause a lot of instability, and honestly, that's not the right thing to do to arbitrarily ban people from certain countries.
I grew up in the 60s. I remember the Cuban Missile Crisis and the fear that dominated society at that time. But since then, I never felt that way. But now that Trump is in power, I see what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what's going to happen, especially for the younger generation. I think Trump has opened up the Pandora's box, and I don't see a good future for the world. And this is not a man of intelligence. He's a reactionary, and he's also somewhat of a megalomaniac. When I watch him do his speeches, it's like watching Mussolini from the 1930s and 1940s. And when I hear the words, "I'm going to make America great," how many despots in the past have said that? And we're still living in the ashes of these past elitists. And Trudeau is a throwback. In fact, I would say the United States has gone back to the just prior to the First World War with its isolationism. And I really dread the future, what the future holds.
It's really hard, like watching this happen, like on TV and reading the news, and kind of being alone while you take it all in, and being incredulous about what's happening so close to us. And I just feel like it's, I feel really frustrated, and I feel like we can't let this happen without challenging it, because if we do, we're complicit. You know, if we don't say anything, then we're saying it's okay, and it's not okay. It reminds me of something from another time, and it's not right for it to be happening now. You know, we're supposed to be progressing as a human species, and I feel like this is not a step in the right direction. This is unjust, and this is just racism.
And do you live in Toronto?
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you think about like the diversity and the multiculturalism here in Toronto?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes the city, right?
Yeah, we're in Toronto, we're over 50% foreign-born. I think that it imbues the city with wonderful things, with a better understanding of other countries, and just more diverse opinions and thoughts and ideas, and it enriches this city and this nation. I used to work for immigration. I'm very pro-immigration.
I'm from Yemen, actually.
Okay.
From the Middle East.
Okay, and how does this make you feel?
It's so-and-so. It makes me sad about I was still fighting about the same issues for the last couple decades. But it's amazing that as Canadians, everybody is here standing still, from every race and every color and gender, standing against hate and racism, Islamophobia.
I think the greatest concern I have is the attack that's going on against democracy, and that's what this is all about. The ban on Muslims is just it's a symptom of what's going on, what's been happening for the past 40 years. And I think people are starting to wake up and seeing that this elitism, if you will, has to stop, and that democracy has to be taken back. You can go. I mean, what's ironic is what's happening in the Middle East was essentially caused by the West. The West has been involved in the Middle East for over 100 years. We created the mess, and now that you have these tragic stories of people being chased from their homes, and we don't take them. We take no responsibility for it. And I think we had this kind of elitist idea of that only we understand what democracy is. Excuse me. And the rest of you don't, so we don't care. You're not human. That's very typical of elitist mentality. Find someone to blame. And what's interesting is that America is a country that has been built on fear, on paranoia. They need an enemy. I want to see Canada speak up more in the world theater, especially in the United Nations, which has become a toothless lion, on the fact that we have to take responsibility for this. And the West has to fix the problem. And, excuse me, that's not done with guns and bombs and what have you. I mean, ISIS alone was created by the Americans when they disbanded the Iranian army, or the Iraqi army, sorry. And what do you do with 250,000 people with no jobs, no homes, no future? You've got to offer them something in order to fix the problem. But you can't offer them bombs and guns and what have you. That just creates, and what's happened with the ban, that's just creating more enemies.
I was at the Women's March last weekend, and after that I was kind of inspired to take more action, and what Trump is doing in America is really wrong, I feel, so I think it's important for us to show up as allies, even if it doesn't directly affect us.
Okay, and do you think it does affect Canadians?
Yeah, I do. I think it affects a lot of Canadians. Canadians with dual citizenship, I think, and it's just, I think, offensive to all Muslim and immigrant Canadians. And when people in power say stuff like that, I think it makes people think that hate crimes against Muslims and other immigrants are acceptable.
And how do you feel about what happened in Quebec yesterday?
It's awful. It's really heartbreaking. I can't imagine what Muslim families all across Canada and the US must be feeling right now.
So it was a chance to speak directly to the consular staff.
Okay.
I think I'm on their security camera.
Oh,
so,
right now?
Well, you see,
are they watching us? Are they watching us right now?
Of course they are. So, anyway, I can talk to them directly. Any consular staff, resist. Don't be a Trump chump.
So, and how does it make you feel with everything that's going on right now in the world and in the America? Depressed?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a nightmare that there are enough Americans who fear everything in the world that they're deciding to close their borders.
Not sad. Very sad. Me too. Disappointing. Disappointing. What do you think?
Crazy.
It's crazy? What would you like to see happen in the U.S. and what would you like to see Canadians do?
Canadians to help get rid of Donald Trump.
Help get rid of
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump?
Bring change.
Bring change? Okay. See your side.
No, this one. Stop moving it. Oh, sorry.
What do you think about what's going on right now?
It's not good what's going on. Right now it's fun.
Right now it's fun? How does it make you feel with all this negativity and stuff out there?
Sad and scared.
Sad and scared.
If you want to come with me, come with me. If you don't want to,
we'll fight with you. I want to hear we are sorry. We caused this. We went into Iraq. We just totally obliterated the cradle of civilization on a lie. But then again, Vietnam was a lie. The Spanish-American War was a lie. And I mean, West has destroyed 2 million lives just in Iraq alone. And the Americans will talk about genocide and what have you. Well, look at yourself. Now, we can criticize Islam, we can criticize their cultures, what have you. No culture is perfect, of course. We have to look at ourselves, and we have to stop being feeling like we're somehow elite. But yeah, I think we owe the Middle East a big apology, and we have to go in there to help rebuild what's left.
What brought you guys out here today?
Oh, we're just here as allies today.
Do you feel that this affects Canadians as well as Americans and the whole world?
I do, definitely, yeah. I think it's definitely good to send a message to our government that we won't accept anything akin to this. kind of legislation.
Well, I just think that like together we stand and divided we fall, so we can't make an impact if we're separating everybody and discriminating against people further by saying you're not entitled to protest this. Everybody should be entitled to say what's wrong with society, that this isn't okay.
What would you say to the people of the world right now, and people who are from the countries that are affected by this ban, as a Canadian?
Yeah, I can't even imagine what they're going through. Just knowing that there's a lot of people out there who are supporting you.
We're here with love.
Yeah.